What's up, guys? Welcome to my review of the Dynamic Discs Sergeant. This is an overstable distance driver, brand new on the market from Dynamic Discs. Thank you so much to our friends at DD for sending me this disc to test and review. You can go straight to the description and go right to a link to order a Sergeant right from dynamicdiscs.com if you want to check one out for yourself. They've been an awesome sponsor and I appreciate their continued support. Thank you so much to you guys for watching as well, and let's get into the review of the Sergeant. So, overstable distance driver. It is a speed 11, glide 4, 0, and then 2.5. I would say those are pretty spot on. Definitely no natural turn at all. Strong fade, a 3 here wouldn't bother me whatsoever. In fact, maybe that would be a little bit closer based on my experience with this one exact disc. Sergeant, I like nice bright pink, always a great color for a golf disc, and it is in the Lucid plastic, which is well documented here on my channel. Arguably my favorite plastic on the market is the Lucid Opto blend from DD and Latitude. It's just amazing stuff that I really, really love. And yeah, great looking disc. Let's take a look at the profile here. Pretty flat, almost no real dome on this thing. I wouldn't say it's board flat, but it's not too far off. As you can see there, it's pretty damn flat. Also, you can see its full max weight, 175 grams, as marked on the bottom. And it will say Sergeant on the bottom as well, right there. And here is a look at the profile of this disc. So it's not a terribly wide rim, but it's not really very narrow either. It's somewhere in between at a speed 11. I think that's probably pretty spot on from my testing of this disc, but it's all kind of subjective and hard to dial in, especially I haven't been throwing a lot lately, and you know, with the quarantine and all that stuff, actually, yeah, my form maybe not where it should be right now, so bear that in mind when I describe the way this thing flies a little bit later on. But here is your look at the rim profile again. No real issues with the design. It's got a little bit of a sharper edge on this one corner here. Comes to a little bit of a point there, but no real worries. I like the feel of it in the hand overall. Definitely not much of an issue. Let's put it up next to a couple other things. This is the culverin right out of my bag. This I'm carrying again. Let me get a clean edge here so I can put them up next to each other. Not hugely dissimilar there, but you can see the Sergeant definitely has a wider rim, faster disc, more overstable than the culverin for sure. And also, I don't really have much else. I really wish I still had a Criminal to put next to this disc, but this is a Vulture from Discraft, which is another overstable 9 or 10 speed, I forget exactly. And also, Vulture also not quite as overstable or as fast as the Sergeant. There's a couple looks next to a couple other things. Good feel in the hand. I love the Lucid plastic. It's durable, it's bright, it's got everything you need in a plastic. And yeah, arguably the best driver plastic on the market. Good feel in the hand, no issues there. If you had really small hands, maybe it would be a touch wide for you, but I really don't think it's too big of a deal. It's not like a big wide rim disc by any means. So, let's talk about the flight of this thing. This will probably be a pretty quick video because this thing is overstable and it just really wants to get left on me. And it really kind of just flies according to the flight numbers, although for this particular individual, I would say a fade of 3 might make a little bit more sense because this thing definitely really likes to hook up. It is somewhat low glide. Definitely faster than something like a culverin in that 9 speed range or so. It has a noticeable little tick up in the stability and the speed out of the hand for this disc. I think ultimately this is better suited for more professional level players or people who throw with more power. I think you're going to see the guys out there in the field getting a little bit better flights out of this disc for sure than I was able to. Once again, during the bulk of my testing of this disc was just recently, and golf has been shut down with everything that's been going on here in the Portland area. I have not been throwing very much, so that could be part of the deal, is I'm not used to throwing drivers at the moment very much at all. But I don't feel that different when I'm out there throwing, and it's not like a huge difference, but that could play a factor here, and I wanted to just mention it because I'm not getting much distance out of this disc. It's definitely something that would be more of an overstable utility disc for me and my arm speed. You guys know I'm definitely not a big power arm player, and I also like to throw on somewhat of a hyzer release. This thing is not flipping up at all. It just goes on that angle of release and starts swinging in with a pretty strong fade. It's not like the type of fade that kicks in right at the last second. It starts happening somewhat early in the flight for my throwing style, and it definitely swings around the corner pretty good. So if you wanted a nice Overstable utility disc for an amateur player, something you can throw kind of spikes with, maybe overhands, be a great forehand disc, I have no doubt, for just about anybody who wanted to use it for that. But I ultimately do think this particular disc is a little bit more suited to bigger arm players with more power and more speed on their throws. You can see James and Andy both definitely throw noticeably farther than I do, and I think they were getting a little bit better flights out of this disc, and they really enjoyed testing it. A little bit more stable for me than I might like, but hey, it's all dependent on what you want, and it's all dependent on the shot that's at hand. So if I needed an overstable disc to get around a corner or for fighting the wind or anything along those lines, I could see the Sargent being an awesome option for that. But if you want to throw it more as a distance disc, I think you'll be better off if you have a little bit more power. You can really hit it hard and flat. You can put some anhyzer out of your hand, and it's going to fly really controllably, accurately. And if you have more speed and are able to throw it a little bit more up to speed with your arm, I think you can definitely get more distance out of it as well. All in all, another great addition to the Dynamic Discs lineup. I think this is kind of like, maybe like a little bit of a successor to the Criminal. So if you guys remember the Criminal, or you like that disc, but you don't necessarily want to bag something that is out of production, maybe the Sargent could be a good option for you. Thank you so much to everybody for your continued support. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks once again to Dynamic Discs for sponsoring this video. If you like what I do, please consider subscribing to the channel for future content. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. I'll talk to you all very soon. Cheers. Thank you so much for watching, and big thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. If you would like to see your name listed in the credits of all of my videos, go to patreon.com/discgolfnerd.